I was wishing Randy would have broke out Texarkana for us. All right, here we go. Intro starting now. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 2 of Don't Cross the Streams. I'm Will, here with business partner Jay Cochran, own the Bangor Comic and Toy Con. Messing it up straight out of the gate. Hey, that's all right. Hopefully audio's working good. So anyways, we've got Bob Raymond, Shauna, Booette, and Corey from Maine Ghostbusters. And
hey guys.
Super excited to have you guys all here. Thank you guys for joining in. As I was telling Jay, this is basically like, it's all for fun. It's something to hopefully provide a distraction, give everybody, a little break from everything going on. Just shut out the outside world and just hang out and have some fun. And this one we're super excited about because it's basically all family. I mean, all of you guys have been there since year 1 with us. So it's really awesome to have you guys all here.
Definitely.
Cheers to that.
Super excited.
Yeah, cheers.
Although I don't know how I feel about a Ghostbuster being a ghost.
Yeah, I don't think I played that part out too well, did I?
Yeah, just a little bit.
And they got us right next to each other.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Planet, hi.
We can try that again here.
Oh.
Wait, I'm trying to see which side am I
on. You
on?
gotta go the other way.
This way?
The other way?
There you go, yep. Oh, nice.
Bam! That's it.
All right, so I'm going to kind of kick things off with Bob. So for anybody who doesn't know Bob, he's been with us since year 1. Quickly became part of the family and is now responsible for basically anything you see BCTC-wise, including our current logo for the web show, any poster for the last 3-4 years, be it the poster we put out this year, last year, any of the halfway con stuff. Does all of our badges, so I don't have any of the current badges with me, but this is just one of them from last year.
Yep.
And I've got some sweet prints here. This is from our
the halfway con.
Halfway con. So yeah.
Very talented artist. Very much appreciated. Love the style. It was last year we dropped the ball. Will and I. We got posters of all the people, and we got just one, right? That was signed by everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we gave it to Bob.
So I think Bob ended up with one. John has one over at the office at Seasons, and I don't know if anybody else got their hands on one.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I think that was it, and it was like after we were like, "Hey, we never got any of those signed for ourselves."
We went around making sure everybody else had one, but we didn't think of doing it for ourselves.
It was worth it, though. We'll get a print sometime.
Oh man, so Bob, what kind of started off here with you? So how long have you been drawing?
Forever.
Forever.
Since I was a kid, and then just it progressed from there. But maybe seriously for the last 15-20 years.
Has it always been that one kind of style, or did you start anything else?
When I first started kind of getting into comics, it was more like Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri style stuff. And then I ended up stopping drawing for a while and went to school for a little bit and hated that. And when I came back to drawing, I changed up my style to that. Because I used to actually hate the style that I draw in now. I thought it was too cartoony. It didn't work. It was cheesy. And then for whatever reason, I love with it.
That's so funny because that's actually like my kind of favorite art style. I don't know exactly what it is, if it's the cartoony side, if it's the comic booky side, if it's the over exaggeration on a couple body parts and stuff, but it's one of my favorite styles of artwork for sure.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. You know, and not many people do it now in the comics. Very different now. The styles have completely changed. Because there was one point where it was mostly, you had a lot of copycat artists doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm one of the copycats too, so.
I mean, everything really is. I mean, what is there really, you know, nowadays that you can really, I don't know, break the mold on right now? I don't know.
It's very rare. I mean,
Yeah,
once
super
pops up.
tough. I think, like, hitting on Jay's point, though, about, you know, not just our love for your art, but I think it's one of the cool things for us that helps set our con apart is having you on board with us as an artist, because just seeing the guests and the agents when they get to see, you know, see the posters that you've done and seeing them freak out about it and, like, how excited they are and how they, you know, hey, you got to set a few of these aside for us. Like, what do we got to do to get a couple of these? I think it's just something awesome to have, and not only is it we done prints, but our T-shirt last year was done by Bob. So
Love that T-shirt.
It's like our go-to guy. Like you're so speedy with stuff. We're just like, quick, we need a graphic, something drawn. Get a hold of Bob. He has like a red phone in his lair. All it's just for the BCTV.
Nice.
Well, last year, that one panel that we had to change 4 times, like,
Yeah.
kept on switching. And luckily it was just that one panel, like, kept on switching. It was like last minute getting that. I mean, it was literally last minute they had to go to.
No, it literally was. And the only reason why we even figured you could do it was because of the digital age. I know that, like, I use my iPad a lot for tattooing, and I do everything in layers. So it's like if last minute I got to change something, it's like knock that layer out or something. It's not like you have to start all over.
Yeah. I mean, to do it by hand now, there's no way. It's just
right.
You know.
yeah, I think we've been really lucky, you know, because even with the poster for this year, we were like, you know, Bob had sent it all over, we were good to go, and you know, almost last minute or close to last minute, me and Jay were told we had the opportunity to bring in Jeff Anderson, you know, to kind of complete the Clerks trio, and at the time would have been the first New England Northeast-based convention to have the three of them appearing together. So I was like, hey, Bob, I know you're kind of used to this with us, but how tough would it be to do this? And, like, say, you know, that night, Bob's like, oh, yeah, I can just throw this in, no problem. And, yeah, it's been fantastic.
It's to be expected with this type of thing. So, you know,
Right.
Of course, behind the scenes, I'm swearing my head off and, you know, calling you every name in the book, but, you know.
And then, of course, we've got Corey here with us. So, Corey, you're here with the Maine Ghostbusters. Again, another you know, group
Corey.
that have been with us since year one. And, I mean, I feel like it seems like you guys have just continued to grow and add more to, you know, the Maine Ghostbusters family. But also to, you know, what you guys have as far as gear goes. You've got, you know, you had the replica Ecto 1. Now you've got a couple different vehicles in the fleet. So how long have you guys been doing the Maine Ghostbusters?
This is actually a little promotion here, but this is our 10th anniversary actually this year. So yeah, we've been doing this 10 years.
Congratulations.
We had these specialty patches made this year of our original logo.
Those look awesome.
Yeah.
How do I get a hold of one of those?
Yeah, how do I get one of those?
our big plan was to reveal them this weekend, but
was it supposed to be this weekend?
yeah, what was that gonna?
I'm forgetting.
Wasn't it Bob's birthday?
That's right.
Yeah,
something. I don't know.
Yeah, so we formed in 2010. We actually all met. The original 5 of us met at a screening of Ghostbusters 1 for the 25th anniversary. And we're like, hey, you do this, and we all got together and formed the Maine Ghostbusters, and that was 10 years ago. So we just had the 35th anniversary, our 10th anniversary.
Nice.
We've had a lot of members come and go, but you know, there's the solid 3 of us that have been here. Me, Justin, and Mike Marshall.
Nice.
Been there from day one.
Awesome.
Well, we love having you guys. Everybody, there's something about the Ghostbusters that always, it's just like, I don't know, a staple. Everybody's just like, Ghostbusters? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Always.
I don't know what I can use for language on this, but
Oh, you're good.
Oh, you're good.
yeah. Okay, we had we do like one of the coolest moments was we do the Boston St. Patrick's Day parade every year. So there's like, I think the last year we did it, there was like 75 Ghostbusters and 6 Ectos.
Ooh, very
and
cool.
They ended up putting us right behind the 501st and all the Mandalorian mercs. So like people going through the crowd and they'd come through and be like, "Oh, stormtroopers! Oh, and the fucking Ghostbusters!" and just lose their minds. all the stormtroopers the whole time just had their heads down, like, "Oh, these guys again." Yeah,
Do a mashup, though. That would be a pretty good mashup.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
We often do photo shoots with stormtroopers, like if we're near each other, and we always pull out our Neutrona wands and they pull out their blasters, and we always say on the count of 3, and we go 1, 2, 3, you missed, and they always
Yeah. You know
I was
which
gonna say
one
that was one of my
hit the
favorite
target.
things. Yeah. Well, as a side note with the Mandalorian, not like giving anything away, but that was like one of my favorite parts was the scene where the 2 guys on the speeder bikes were trying to shoot that target. Like, neither one of them could do it. That's so good.
Now, year 1 of BCTC, we actually had Ernie Hudson from Ghostbusters here.
Yeah.
So Corey,
Yeah.
what was that experience like for you guys being able to? I mean, I think we had you right next to Ernie that whole week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shared a table with him. So I mean, that was the second time I had met Ernie. I met him in San Francisco when I lived out there. But like, it was kind of the rush through, like, oh, he's here for an hour and a half, like, get everything you need and get out. So being able to like hang out with him all weekend and like, once the con started winding down at the end of the day, just sharing stories with him about stuff that, he probably wouldn't want me to repeat, but like stuff behind the scenes of Ghostbusters and stuff like that, none of us have ever heard before. Like, that was one of the coolest experiences of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things too, because for our staff that get to sit with the guests and kind of be like the handler for them, they come and tell me and Jay like all these these cool stories, or how awesome the guest was, or Mark Dawson telling different stories about Star Wars and how this and that happened. But then the same thing for me and Jay, getting to like hang out with him before the con or backstage and whatnot, to be able to have those cool experiences where like not a lot of people know these things happen, but we have these cool like memories to share with each other and with our team. So that's an awesome experience.
Yeah. One of my favorites was definitely hanging out with Sid Haig last year. Like,
Yeah.
just
tell us about it. Would you get to?
It's as a lifelong, a huge fan of Rob Zombie's movies, and especially Sid Haig. Yeah, it was just cool. I mean, I'm wearing my hot dog shirt, but yeah, just like
egg.
I was wearing this shirt. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, on the back of it, it says, "If I wanted to hear from an asshole, I'd fart." So, like, at first I walked by him and like waved at him, and he looks, he goes, "Does your shirt have the saying on the back?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, the only way to do it. And then he called me over and told me the story about how they designed this T-shirt, and kind of just had like this one-on-one moment of just like, him loving to tell the story and me just absolutely shocked to be hearing the story. I think that happened like 2 or 3 times throughout the weekend, because I was the Sunday I dressed up as Captain Spaulding, so it's like just having those little moments to talk to him, and now just really cherish those moments now.
No, I'm 100% in that boat with you. Short of Jay and our team, I think Bob knows. Bob was just kind of there for everything, doing movie premieres and whatnot together. So I've vented many a times about my experience and just how long I spent trying to book Sid as a guest, and all the running around. I think 4 or 5 months it took before I finally got an actual connection, and it crazy thing, it turned out to be his wife. Was like the one.
She's awesome.
Yeah, Susie is amazing.
And she's a sweetheart.
And it was and the same thing. Like Sid was, I loved every guest that we had there, but Sid was like the one person that I absolutely wanted to have there. And prior to the con, another little shameless plug for Jay, but being a tattoo artist, I was like, we need to do a Sid tattoo. So we did a Captain Spaulding on the back of my calf. And Sid, man, Sid's a storyteller. He'll sit there and anything. He'll talk, his movies, life, drinking, his love for cooking,
gardening.
The new three, at the time, the Three from Hell, and he's like, oh yeah, it's funny because Rob's sitting there making these people think he's still filming and this and that. Nah, man, that shit's been done for over a year. Like, he's manipulating everybody. Like don't you think for one second my ass is still out there filming with him right now? But I made a post on my personal page the other day. I had a number of signed items that I had gotten from the con. Like we do every year, and not sure what happened. Hopefully, me and Jay are hoping that they weren't taken. But Susie, being as amazing as she is, ended up sending me this photo to try to help make up for my missing items. So I don't know how well I can't really see it there, but it's a sign. It's a Three from Hell, so it's Sid and the Devil's Rejects, I should say. Sid and Bill Moseley. Signed Devil's Rejects there, so that's super cool. Nice little thing to kind of help add, and I've got a crazy collection of stuff back there. So Corey, thank you for sharing that story about Sid. I really appreciate that, and I know Jay does as well.
I'm trying to find it, but now's probably not the proper time. But I've got a patch I'll give you, man. They did a charity patch. I don't know if it's how the charity patch is for him.
No.
Yeah, I'll bring you one up in October.
Oh, I would appreciate that. Thank you, man.
That's awesome.
And
Very cool.
Shauna, you've no stranger to cosplay. You've been doing it for as long as I've known you. So the 5 years I've at least known you. But when did the inspiration for Booette come in?
Booette came about probably the year before, so probably about 2 years ago, before the con, before I did her last year. I'd seen so many people doing Bowsette, and so I was just kind of looking and seeing, and I saw her, and I'm like, yeah, no, I need to do her. I need to do this because she just had this like sassy attitude where, the whole like, I'm trying to get you, but then like, wait, no. Kind of that. I thought it was adorable, and I thought she needed to have more presence. So yeah.
It's funny that you say that, because I was thinking like, you're just like, there's normal calm Shauna, but then like Booette comes out, and it's like just like this total badass. And I think that really came present with the con itself. You kind of helped take over handling the cosplay and some Q&A stuff. So how was that experience for you?
It was actually really fun. I'd never hosted a masquerade before, so that was completely new to me. But it was really fun, interacting with the people, seeing how much work went into everyone's cosplay, from conception to, rehashing of regular items to turn them into something completely different, and just how much passion everyone had for their cosplays and them staying in character. So much it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. Hands down, though, the two from Silent Hill, at the end. They were my favorite. I absolutely adored them. I think they were my favorite part of the whole show. That and telling the little boy to get off the couch yelling at him. That was also kind of fun. But yeah, Booette she took on a life of her own after that. So
Yeah, so the Silent Hill guest cosplayers were our good friends Matt and Denise, and they were telling us almost a year working on building those cosplays, and then even right down to last minute, of the con, they're like, crap, how are we going to get this stuff together? I think that's one of the coolest things is the dedication. I know Jay's also used to do a ton of cosplay stuff. Back out.
Been a while.
Been a while, but Jay used to do a ton of stuff. Nothing I could ever do, but I definitely appreciate the passion, the attention to detail. Just there's so much that really goes into it, and then, as you said, when you get those people who can not only create the cosplay, but then can also turn it to another level where they can become that person, and flip that switch. It's absolutely amazing to see that.
That's definitely another whole level, because I know personally I went all out on a cosplay and then went to the Boston Fan Expo, and I was like, oh, I'll enter the costume contest, thinking costume contest, cosplay, that's it. But then I'm in line with these people and they're all acting out and they're practicing these monologues that they have, and I'm just like, what is this? Are we trying out for something? And
I think
they're no, it just helps with it, blah, 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 blah. But thankfully I was the comedian for the Watchmen and I was super hungover. So thankfully when I was up there, I just kind of was groggy. And then the girl, it was Ivy Doom Kitty that actually was running it. And she was like, how are you doing? Blah, blah. And I was like, actually, I'm wicked hungover right now. And everybody's like, oh, because it was appropriate for the comedian. But that was it for me. But that was next level. The people that the woman that won, she was in a full Queen Amidala cosplay. I mean, everything was spot on, and she was reciting every question that they had. She had a flawless response as Queen Amidala. It was crazy.
Yeah, and I mean the judging for that kind of stuff. I mean, we followed the rule, the regular rules, but some of the bigger conventions, I mean, they get down into did you make your underwear? Did you make your bra? Did you, what did you do to your shoes? Kind of a thing. They get into it. I'm like, what? I'm like, holy cow!
Yeah,
it's nuts. But man, I applaud them big time.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
So Bob, Jay kind of cycled, earlier about the not inspirations, but artists, that you would compare yourself to, or trying to not fall into a certain mold. But who are some of your favorite artists or comic book creators that got you into wanting to become part of this world?
Oh, I mean, I really got into it into mid '90s is when I got into when Image grew up. So you're talking, there's Jim Lee in the Mark Silvestris. Greg Capullo is a big one, and I love his Batman run. There, Mark Bagley, who did Ultimate Spider-Man for a long time. Oh, geez.
Hi.
Say goodnight to everybody.
Good night.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
But just, Michael Turner, and, he passed away before I could get any art, or he blew up. A lot of different artists I kind of pull from all of them, Jason Scott Campbell, and, they all do something that's very unique to them, and I try to pull from ton of different artists.
Yeah.
I say, like, you know, one of the huge things right now that we're seeing is a ton of comics, you know, being turned movies. Like the Marvel franchise the last few years has just been blowing up. DC's trying to do that as well. But what are some of your favorite comics turned movies? I guess this is for everybody. It doesn't just seem to be Bob.
Yeah, right.
What was the question again?
So what are, out of like all like the Marvel, DC, like any of like the basically comics that have turned, you know, become part of the movie franchises, what have been some of your favorite adaptations?
Marvel specific?
No, just, you know, in general, like comic related movies that's turned, you know, turned into film.
I'm so behind on movies, but yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the first Watchmen, like the Watchmen movie. That was
Dude. Literally was gonna be my answer.
We can rewind. Hold on. I like the Iron Man movies.
No, you can like the Watchmen. I agree with you. I actually, with the Watchmen, I watched the movie, didn't really pay attention, was kind of like, eh. Then I read the comics, fell in love with the comics, rewatched the movie, and fell in love with the movie because it's like they took the comics and used it as their storyboard.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those scenes and everything are just spot on to the comics.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love The Watchmen.
It's tough to pick a favorite movie. I mean, to be honest, you know, Marvel has definitely been hitting it out of the ballpark. As far as adaptation from comic, I know it's not movie, but I absolutely adored Strange Academy.
I haven't seen that.
On Netflix. Or excuse me, Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy. Yeah, Umbrella Academy was amazing. Yeah.
Loved that. And I think that they are looking to do Strange Academy. I think after WandaVision and Scarlet Witch with Doctor Strange. I think that they're going to look into doing that one. But Umbrella Academy was so good.
Yeah, I absolutely loved Umbrella Academy. I can't wait for more. I think it's cool. You know, for me, I grew up with, you know, My Chemical Romance. So being able to see, you know, Gerard bust out into, you know, seeing his other passion that he's put so much time in, finally getting recognition, and even the same for, I'm a huge Coheed and Cambria fan, and I would love more than anything to book Claudio Sanchez and bring him up for, you know, just the storytelling and artwork that he does.
That's a twofer right there.
Yeah.
So real quick, I'm just kind of get caught up on some of the comments here. Kind of been lacking. We've all been talking, so it's been great. Bobby says, "I love you, Bob."
Love you, Bobby.
Alex asks, "Where's Derek?"
Who's Derek?
Yeah, who's Derek?
Oh, from Ghostbusters?
He must be a Ghostbuster.
Where are you, Derek?
Yeah, where is Derek? Everybody wants to know, where is Derek, Alex? That is the $1 million question.
Where is Derek?
Where in the world is Derek?
Where is he?
Greg says, "Hello, everybody." Jay says, "Hey, guys." Nicole says, "Run, Booette." Looks like Will said goodnight when Corey's daughter joined us in for a second. And talking movies, Ryan had said The Crow. Couldn't agree more. Crow was fantastic.
Yeah, Crow was good.
Crow was great. Yeah.
We were lucky enough that you know,
not as good as The Crow 2, but you know.
We were lucky enough. Right? I was like, "Hey, that's your funeral, man." Like, we were lucky enough that you know, when Chris was still involved with this, he was able to bring up James O'Barr, and very, very quiet, very shy guy, but
very reserved.
But you know, once he did get talking, or he was awesome. He was a great guest to be able to have. As part of the convention.
So we're caught up on our comments.
This is that patch, by the way. I'll just show it real quick. But
Oh, very
awesome.
cool. That's awesome. I love that. Very cool. That was, not to like jump totally back into it, but I will say that was, a very interesting time with Sid, because to get to spend a weekend with somebody at his caliber, but then him to pass away within the next 5 months, like really, it was a weird time for somebody like that to pass away, and you actually felt like mourning, like, damn, I was just hanging out with him.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just yesterday he was up here,
It was a very surreal moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is we were actually, Sid was going to be releasing a cookbook. He loved to cook, loved talking beer, spices, and him and John from Seasons just hit it off great. And we were actually talking with Sid about bringing him up for like another weekend type event where he was kind of like a guest as part of Seasons and do like helping like working with the chef and like do like inspired meals for the weekend and just hang out. So that would have been absolutely amazing if we would have been able to make that happen.
And I wish I would have paid more attention to when he told me a couple recipes, because he told Will and I a recipe for like it was like a Captain Morgan candy that he made, and then an edible like cookie that he made. And he told us how he did it, but he told us he was doing the cookbook, so I didn't think, that I really had to. I was like, all right, well, when the cookbook comes out, I'm going to check it out.
Damn.
But anyways, we can move back on from Sid, because we could talk about him for a while.
Yeah.
So while we're still kind of on, while we were talking movies or comics turned movies, another great one is Riverdale. And Bob, you actually got to have one of your comics or comic art that you had done featured in the TV spinoff of Riverdale. How did that all come out to fruition?
Ralph from Jetpack Comics in New Hampshire. I did a book for his. He does a lot of indie stuff. He's actually, I think he was one of the first stores to have the Ninja Turtles comic in his store and help support Eastman and Large. And cool. So he's always doing indie books and stuff like that. So one of his friends wrote a script. He used to do like short stories, filming. He was trying to become a director. He decided to turn to a comic. I did the comic, and it took a while for it to come out. And then I don't know exactly how it happened, but they were looking for art for indie comics that weren't a property, because then they would have to pay a lot of money. So they wanted to fill a wall with posters and stuff. So one of the covers that I did ended up getting put on that wall in a comic book shop or something. You see it really quick.
But you see it though, right?
But you see it, yeah.
That's awesome.
That's really
cool. Which episode, season?
It was not. Can't quite remember. It was like last.
Really, Bob? You don't know your art was featured in?
Episode 20. Like I was told 22, but it was like 21 or something. It was like some weird number 13 or something like that. But real quick.
That's still really cool, though. I mean, congratulations on that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'd show it, but I've got it. I've got a framed thing of some comic covers. So I've got Bob's in that. I've got the press release of Murder Hobo and the Electric Black. Joseph Schmelke, Jason Lynch, and I think I've got. I don't know. I'm trying to look over. I've got something else in that framed thing, but I can't really see what it is. Those are the three big ones in there, though. So.
That's awesome. I have a question for Corey. Whenever.
Yeah, go for it.
Quick question.
Yeah.
I've seen the preview for the new Ghostbusters. And there's a big thing. Everybody is super excited about it from what I see. But I feel like I'm missing something as far as the hype for the new one. Like, what is it about this new one that everybody is so jacked on? Like, in your opinion.
For me, I mean, I think it's just like it's as far as people in the community, we're kind of excited to see how they continue the story of Egon, or I guess not continue, but how they deal with the situation of Egon. And it just from the previews, it's just like, I mean, that first teaser they put out where they, the wind blows the sail off the Ecto. Like, my goosebumps were like this high off my arm because I was like, the noises, the chords. But then, they released and Jason Reitman actually said very soon we're going to have a full trailer. So that'll be cool. But yeah, I mean, they show a lot of like the original props. And of course, people in our community take screenshots, blow it up, and look at it and pick apart every little thing. And just the amount of accuracy and detail that Jason Reitman has put into this is really, like, for us, just a goosebump moment. They just released recently that they had 2 Ectos for the movie, and they were actually built from the ground up on like Ford Mustang platforms.
Wow.
So
cool.
They were able to like do high speeds, and like they had a stunt one and a hero vehicle, so one for close-ups and so on. But just like, I mean, the new Ecto goggles in the trailer that have like the Polaroid camera in it, like, I can't tell you how many times this Ghostbuster we've been like, man, I wish I could just like put my goggles on and take a picture, and boom, there it is. So it's like, we're excited to see where it goes. And there's a lot of Easter eggs in the trailer, like when they're in the town, it's like you have to look really close, but there's like Shandor Mine, and Shandor was the guy that built the castle, the Dana's building in the first one, and so it's like little things, and they're looking down the mine, and the ghost flies out, like, what is it? But it's in all these little Easter eggs that just kind of line up, but we're really excited to see where it goes.
Okay. Well, so to me, it sounds like definitely it's people are excited, but excited for the right reasons. Like the people that are really into it are seeing those Easter eggs and stuff. So I definitely I'm excited. I've always been a Ghostbusters fan, but it's never really been anything that I've like really gone past the movies with, So I'm definitely excited for it, but I felt like there was, when the trailer got released, everybody was like, holy shit. And they're, like you said, goosebumps. And I'm like, I mean, it's awesome, but I feel like I'm missing something. And it's probably all those little Easter eggs.
Yeah, it'll come together. Like, I feel like it'll meld together, and the end result would just be something that, I mean, they released Ghostbusters 2 in 89?
Yeah.
86? Get my numbers wrong. But, from there, Aykroyd always said, oh, I've got a script for Ghostbusters 3. And originally it was going to be like an underworld where they're, they go to hell and they fight ghosts, and it was just like not what we as fans really wanted. And then, they rewrote and relisted, and Bill Murray said, oh, I'm not going to do it unless it's completely right. And then we heard that they were making a new one, and we're like, oh, and then it was, well, that reboot, which I still haven't seen. I haven't seen that movie, but
I haven't watched it either.
But
it's
so
okay.
then when we heard they were finally making,
what, Bob?
It's okay if you've never watched Ghostbusters.
Right.
It's like there's too many things that pull from. They should have just, if they're going to do it, they should have went completely in the opposite direction.
Right.
I think if they tried to make it not a reboot and more of a continuation or a separate franchise or separate branch, just straight away from the storyline to come back, it would have been 10 times better.
Chris Hemsworth in that was the best part. He was really just watch it for him.
Yeah, I've seen some of it, and I do I love Chris Hemsworth. I've got a crush on that guy.
I was almost on board with that, and they were like, oh, Bill Murray's coming back, and Ernie Hudson's coming back, and Dan Aykroyd's coming back, but they're not playing their characters. And I was like, what? Why would you even do that?
Ryan Morris put on here, fingers crossed, Rick Moranis. Moranis. Moranis will be as an uncredited cameo Yeah, I mean that right there would give me goosebumps alone. If he just, like a Stan Lee moment where things were falling and it's just him like, oh.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just some little thing there. I know he was kind of talking about like now that his kids have kind of, because like he stepped away for the longest time to focus on the family piece. That now that like things have changed, that there might be a chance he might come back and do some sort of acting. Not sure. Like,
wait,
he did say that he's coming back for. They said that he's coming back for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Okay, I remember hearing something about that.
Are they rebooting it and he's just going to be a cameo in it?
No, I think he's reprising his role.
Yeah.
Josh Glad is going to play his son, the youngest, the little boy. So
that's good.
And it's going to be more about him, and he's going to be the side character.
I like Josh Gad. Okay.
Yeah, he's a riot.
Yeah, he is. He's somebody I'd love to bring up here.
Huge Frozen fan.
Me too. Samantha who? Especially with a kid. My son, my God, you should hear him singing Into the Unknown. It's ridiculous. But I just want to clarify with what Ryan was saying. Was Ryan Morris, are you saying that Rick Moranis, fingers crossed that he will be an uncredited cameo? Okay. I didn't know if he was saying he is for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely crossing my fingers on that, but I don't have expectations that it'll happen.
Yeah. Well, he is actually back.
Yeah, and they did film it in Canada, and he's... So we'll see.
I mean, why wouldn't you, though? I mean, that right there, that's the thing about, like, obviously Rick Moranis could do the convention scene already if he needed to, but him just doing a cameo in the new Ghostbusters would just be like, boom, here you go.
Kicking the door open, yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually, Jay, one of the agents we work with has Rick Oz as somebody that they represent, and I did ask last year, and won't go into pricing, but we'll just say it was definitely nothing that we in Bangor could afford right now.
Too much for our blood.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's not unexpected, but it definitely was like, damn.
Yeah, we can all pool our money.
Yeah, right? Hey, I mean, if we can, then let's do it.
I've had people that I'm like, hey, if you bring this person, like, I'll help cover their guarantee. And I was like, that's super cool, but yeah, let's not do that. I appreciate the enthusiasm, but so real quick,
that actually costs.
If anybody out there, does really want somebody here and they can foot the bill, like, let's talk.
A rich uncle or something?
Right?
Anybody?
Comments, we've got Lisa saying, Greg. Lisa also said, loving the little boo crown. All of us should have matching boo crowns.
Yes.
They already talked about Ryan, and then Lisa said, beards and booze, the next episode.
Are you going to have me back for that one?
Hey, you're welcome back anytime.
It's a good segue into beers and booze right now.
Hey, right there. Perfect
time. Beer time. Hey, Jay,
we have
drinking?
Yeah, what are you drinking?
So, well, I mean, this is a good time for it. We, one thing that we'd like to kind of take advantage of with, just being stuck at home, we're all just kind of shooting the shit here is, everybody's struggling right now. So just even putting the word out for any kind of local restaurant or business, or what I've chosen is brewery, because I typically like to have a beer. So I figure if I'm going to have a beer, I might as well promote a local brewery or something. So I'm a little biased with Gagan's because I did work there for 4 years. I was a bartender and a waiter over there. But tonight I'm drinking Smiling Irish Bastard from Gagan's Brewing. Gagan's Brothers Brewing. My God, tongue twister. It's an IPA. I like this beer. Anybody out there that wants to have their brewery or restaurant feature, just have us mention it or anything, feel free to email us at bangorcomicandtoycon@gmail.com. And we'll go from there. And Corey, while we're on the topic, what are you drinking tonight? Because you said you work at a brewery, correct?
I do. I'm drinking Scandyland.
Scandyland. Well, I'm gonna open this and a cheers to you, my good friend.
Yeah.
Cheers, everybody around. There you go.
Yeah, this is an IPA that we brewed with Swedish fish and gummy peach rings in collaboration with Graf Brewing. They're out of Norway, the country.
Nice.
So
That's
we-
awesome.
Yeah, so we did a cross the ocean collaboration. They did that one on their side, we did one on our side, and we released them on the same day, which is pretty cool.
That's so
How'd you get hooked up with that?
So the head brewer and owner of my business is half Norwegian. So he was born in Norway, Maine, and moved when he was little to Norway, the country. And grew up there and learned how to brew, and then came back to Norway, Maine, and opened Norway Brewing. So it's just a Norwegian all around. Yeah.
That's like a stars align kind of situation right there. That
Yeah.
almost seems too obvious.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But we go to like brew fests in Norway, the country, and we're like, oh, we're Norway Brewing, and they're like, what part of Norway?
Right.
We're like,
All of it.
No, the other Norway.
yeah, I went to New York like a couple months ago, and I went to a brewery, and I was wearing my Norway Brewing shirt, and the guy started speaking Norwegian to me, and I was like, no, Norway, Maine. And he's like, what?
Right. That's funny. Well, no, that's cool. I definitely want to try that beer. So yeah, when you come up in October, please bring some so I can try
Yeah.
it. Sure.
And while we're on the subject, up in Bangor, everybody up there, Orono Brewing, Black Bear Brewing, all those breweries up there, man. Everybody, right now, I know just working in the industry, everything's tough for everybody, but breweries are taking a real hard hit right now, not being able to sell our beer, which really sucks for us. So,
Yeah.
Now, why is it that is it because you're not working with like Pine State or like the main distributors? Are you doing it more just you guys?
Yeah, we self-distribute, but even with that, I mean, I'd say 90% of our market is in Portland, and with Portland bars and restaurants shut down, we can't move a keg.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're doing small deliveries to bottle shops and home deliveries, and
Yep.
at
Well, you're
brewery
definitely
pickup.
you're not alone in that, because I was just talking to Justin over at OBC, and he was telling me that right now they've actually stopped the manufacturing of kegs for that reason, and they're only canning right now because they can do delivery, curbside pickup.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you guys have gotten kind of like granted special privileges right now. Like, I'm interested to see how it'll carry over once the pandemic kind of slows down. But normally you weren't allowed to mail beer, or like ship beer the way that you guys are doing it now. But I think you're kind of getting a pass, aren't you?
Yeah, we're definitely getting some treatment to help us stay afloat. I mean, we're able to do deliveries, which is cool. I mean, the main law is usually that you have to have a distributor to do deliveries.
Right.
Or whatever the crazy loophole rules were, but now we're allowed to actually like go out, and I mean, my Thursdays and Fridays are driving to people's house and dropping beer on their porch, which is kind of a weird experience. But and we're also allowed to like actually usually have to come into the brewery to buy beer, but we can actually walk beer out to the cars now, which is nice.
Yeah.
Just to restrict people from coming in.
I do wonder though, because I mean, a lot of this is because of this coronavirus. I don't want to get like too into it, because I know it's so depressing for everybody. But with something like this, it's going to create a lot of agoraphobics, people that are not going to want to leave their house, people that are not going to want to go into restaurants now. So I wonder if it's going to be carried over where you're going to have to kind of have these options now continuously for curbside delivery of beer, things like that, because you're going to have a lot more people that are not going to want to come inside anymore.
Yeah, I think as bad as all this situation is, I think it's a good thing that we're now able to put these measures into place, because like you said, after this is all over, people are still going to be skeptical and not want to leave the house. And if they'll allow us to carry these measures over, and we're already prepared for it, that'll help a lot of small businesses that have switched to home delivery or mail service to have those measures in place now to move forward.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's one of the cool things that OBC is doing right now is, I know they basically kind of like that. You call ahead order, and they'll meet you at the end of their road, with your cases ready to go and loaded up for you type thing.
Yeah.
And Jay,
And those,
I know
those guys are awesome, by the way.
Yeah, Justin and all of them are fantastic. And I know, Jay, you're kind of talking about Gagan's for your beer tonight, but on the last episode, you kind of talked about something that OBC was doing. Can you kind of just reiterate on that for those who might have missed last week?
Yeah, absolutely. They did a collaboration. I think it was called All Together. I might be I think it was All Together. But basically what it was there's 615 different breweries across the U.S. that all got the same recipe for a beer.
Yes.
They all made their own version. Were you involved in that at all, Corey?
We weren't. We're not. We've stopped all production at the brewery.
Okay. So so everybody got the same recipe. They did their same beer, but they all got to tweak it a little bit, and then proceeds of it went towards bartenders, breweries, industry workers, and all that. But that was a pretty cool thing. Like, as much, it's really weird saying it this way because it's like this pandemic's so weird because most of us have nothing to do but everything to do at the same time. And then in the same regards, it's like, it's awful, but there's a lot of odd good things coming from it. Pollution's down, wildlife is thriving, murders are down in certain areas, people are getting yard work done, people are picking up instruments again, and things that they haven't done in so long. People are starting to be creative. You're seeing all these videos people are making at home, and people are coming together even though we were having to be apart. It sucks, and I don't enjoy it. It's like my dad was saying to me today, I'm going stir crazy. I'm unfortunately one of the people being a tattoo artist that is directly really being affected by this and kind of feeling like I'm slipping through the cracks with being a self-employed tattoo artist. It's like it almost feels like nobody's taking me seriously when it comes to getting help from the government and stuff. And it's just but at the same time, I'm getting to spend more time with my kid. I've been getting a lot of bonding time with my son. I mean, he's gotten me almost a month and a half now, just all to himself. And as much as I'm going stir crazy, I'll never get that time back. So I definitely appreciate that a lot. So it's a weird time.
Yeah. But people are really, it's amazing the ways people are really kind of coming together to help each other out. Not just with the beer, people are finding ways to reach out to, their loved ones. They're, doing, ding dong ditch where they ring some, their friend's doorbell but they leave a care package for them, or, a lot of the cosplayers and seamstresses are sewing masks to donate. The guy Paul from Where Nerdy's Cool, he's printing like a madman with the ear cleaver things. I mean,
just donated a 10 to it was one of the hospitals here. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, I mean, so it's refreshing to see we're trying to take care of each other. It's like people are trying to support local businesses as much as they can, supporting their friends and family. Again, whatever way they can, just to kind of help as a community. And that, I think, is probably the best thing that I think that's come out of this is the camaraderie, the almost, I don't know, there's a term for it where you're you guys are all in the trenches together and you're just kind of.
Right.
I forget what.
We know what you're trying to say. We know what you're
saying.
Yeah,
you know what.
Yeah, so to kind of hit on what Shauna was saying, for those who don't know Paul, Paul is the Bangor Batman. But more notably, you will see him at basically any event we do. A lot of Star Wars movie premieres. as guy with R2D2. He
Yeah.
custom built his
Yeah.
own.
You know him as the guy with R2D2 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and he's, the time and effort he put into that.
Mhm.
But Paul has been doing a lot of 3D printing. And
Mhm.
so here's just a little article from the Maine Veterans Home here. I don't know how well it'll show up on mine, or if people can see that or not because of lag. But basically, so Paul has printed over 1,000 surgical ear mask savers for all of the Maine Veterans Homes.
Nice.
And that's,
Way
I
to
mean,
go.
that's just scratching the surface of some of the things he's been able to
Right.
try to
Mhm.
do to help out. So, shout out to Paul.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for all you're doing.
Big ups to Paul.
Way. Oh.
One of the big things here for me and Jay is as much as we love doing the con, one of the main reasons is to bring something here to this the city of Bangor to give back to the local businesses in the community.
Mhm.
Um, so it's always awesome when you're seeing places like Orno Brewing Company or what Paul's doing. All these places kind of coming together and helping everybody out in this time of need. And to kind of touch back on Corey about asking about coming back on for another episode. Anybody that we've had on is more than welcome to come back. We had Mike Kingston last episode, and after it was over, he sent me a message just thanking me and Jay so much for having him, and just like how much mentally it was a boost for him. And he's probably going to become, not in every episode, but he'll probably start becoming a regular here with us. Just kind of like so anytime anybody needs like that boost, and that's like I said, the reason me and Jay are kind of doing this is to try to help provide somewhat of a distraction for people. So I'm glad that we're able to.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's like just as much for us as it is for everybody. And Justin Soderberg, again, he was telling me after the last one that even if you're sitting there, you're playing a video game and you got us just sound on the background, whatever. He was like, it felt like I was just in a room with a bunch of friends just talking. So, if that's all this comes out of, I'm cool with it. Like, we want to shine a light on a few people and try to help people out. But I mean, just for all of us, it's just giving anybody a chance to just kind of shoot the shit and just get out of your head for a minute. I know I need it just as much as anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a cool thing. I mean, hey Rosa, hey Rosa. I think that's the cool thing. Like, this is all just something for fun, for distraction, to
Mhm.
hang out with everybody, and just like all of like the positive feedback that me and Jay got from the first episode. And I mean, me and Jay have a ton in the works with this. Like, you know, we've got a Walking Dead themed episode where Jay was able to reach out to Cooper Andrews. Cooper's going to be coming back. I've got Moses, who was one of the pet walkers. We had him up for one of the halfway events. Absolutely amazing guy. So we're super excited for that. We're going to do a Turtles themed one. We've talked with Kevin and Courtney Eastman. They're going to be joining in. We're going to have Ben Bishop. Troy Little is going to be joining in, so we'll kind of do a mix of TMNT and Drawing Blood.
Yep.
We've got Josh Petersdorf, who was Roadhog and Overwatch. There's a great anime show on Netflix, which I cannot pronounce.
Agrusetsu!
Thank you.
Oh, how do you say
I
it?
love her. Agrusetsu.
Thank you.
She's a
Because I would
little,
have butchered
she's a
that.
little
I can't say
red
it. I can't do it.
fox, and she loves heavy metal. Does karaoke every night, and she thrashes heavy metal music.
That's
awesome.
Yeah, and he plays the her boss. He's like a giant.
He's like a pig, right?
So yes, which I'm like, come on, how perfect is that?
Yeah, Josh is fantastic, and I mean, he's done a ton of stuff for Universal. He's does like Optimus Prime, Megatron for like their ride things.
He's the Grinch.
He did some of the Grinch stuff for them during the holidays. And I mean, Josh was just fantastic. He was another great guest, and I can't wait to have him on. We've got Catherine Sutherland, Pink Ranger, who we'll have at the con this year. And she'll probably have a surprise guest with her, which I don't know who yet, so we'll have to see who she brings along. But we're also going to feature other great artists as well. We've got Joseph Schmalke. We're going to have a gaming episode where we're going to bring in one of our best friends, Dave, and the Winter House Gaming crew, along with Sean French, who kind of started out in comics, working with Mortimer with Escape from Jesus Island, but has since kind of branched out and is doing his own gaming thing, and is the creator of Epic Tavern. So it'll be a fun gaming episode to talk with them.
I'd like to try and get Morty and the Cemetery Theater guys.
Yeah, Morty and the Cemetery Theater crew. I mean, the list just goes on. We've got so many awesome things lined up. But I know Shauna, or Booette, kind of has to bow out.
Yeah.
So
Boo out.
I gotta boo out. Apparently Dudley's caught something on fire at the castle, so damn it,
so
Dudley.
we're gonna let Booette go, but we just want to thank her so much for joining in with us. And
Thanks for having me. Thanks for putting a crap on me there, mister. Appreciate it.
Other way.
High five.
The other way.
Other way.
Oh, I can't.
There you go.
There you go.
there we go.
His thing doesn't come up on my screen properly, so I can't see where he's at. So I'm just gonna start going everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well,
All right.
I will catch you guys later.
Yes, thank you
Have
for
a good
joining
night.
in.
Bye.
Bye.
Right?
Bob, I got a question for you, buddy.
What's that?
All right. So I started reading this Infinity Gauntlet.
Yep.
And I don't know, I'm about halfway through and I'm digging it. But you and I had this conversation once, and I'd like a refresher, and I'm wondering if anybody else wants to get down on this and wonder about it too. Thanos. You tried to explain this to me once before, and I wonder if you could do it again. What is the deal with Thanos? Why can Thanos do what Thanos does? Who is he? Is he a mutant? Is he a god? He's
a Titan, I believe. So he's an alien race. I'm not big on his lore. Like that's a time period where I wasn't reading comics. Like that was before. So
Okay.
I'm kind of playing catch up here and there.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting from when I'm reading about that, because it's kind of like how Peter Quill in the Guardians movie was part, almost godlike,
Right.
So there's different
Great
levels
ego.
where-
Yeah.
so that they can handle more stress on the body, like kind of like Hulk could take a little bit of that because it's kind of like in that DNA.
Right. Well, see, so reading this, like I said, I haven't got into it, but unless they do more of like a background later in the comic, at the beginning, they don't really, it's just Thanos is Thanos. He just is there. He is trying to get Lady Death, to love him, and she's showing no love. And he keeps basically doing everything to please her, and that's why he snaps his finger and takes everybody out. Is to basically like, oh well, you don't find me, like you don't love me. Well, what about this? Boom, and he snaps his fingers. Totally different story than obviously what we've all seen in the Marvel universe. And then like Nebula is his granddaughter in the comic instead of his. So like that's another whole strange thing, because then you got Gamora in it that's like his adopted daughter, but then Nebula and him are her sisters, and like in the book, let me just see real quick if I can find a quick picture to show you, because in the movies Nebula is like a robot, and in the comics she's like this dead corpse thing that he basically is keeping in like a living purgatory, where she's like not dead, but she's not alive. Let me see if I can show you. So she's like this corpse thing. So totally different from what we're seeing in the Marvel universe and all that. So I'm kind of confused by it. And it's like the same with all these comics. You kind of go down one path, but they all go in these choose one and just follow that one, I guess.
I mean, that was written in a time period where there was no continuity. So the writers were just kind of doing what they wanted to do. And then the movies are just kind of picking the feels of the characters and stuff like that and doing their own universe.
Right.
Kind of type thing. So, a lot of people get mad when it's not exactly how it is in the comics, but I kind of let it, take the ride.
I appreciate it for both, like kind of with The Walking Dead. I read the comics up until probably right when Negan got captured, is as far as I got in the comics. But it's like you appreciate it. It's like you want them to follow it, but it's almost like, where's the fun if you're just watching exactly what you just read? Like, don't you kind of want to watch something as a little bit so you at least have something to look forward to?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I if you're I mean the Watchmen movie is cool, but pretty much what's going to happen if you've read the book, or 300 the same, just panel for panel almost.
Now so the Watchmen, the ending, I actually appreciate that they did not keep the comic book ending in the movie, because the comic book ending, the big like fake dead monster thing. In the comic it was fine, but I feel like if they just threw that in at the end of the movie, everybody would have been like, wait, what? But no, that's what I got for that. I was very curious because you and I kind of had that conversation about Thanos, and you were the only person that could really even start to kind of try to tell me what the hell Thanos is.
And they've changed stuff too. So, stuff that was in the 70s and 80s is completely different now. So they're always tweaking things. So,
right. Yeah.
So comments real quick. We've got Nicole saying, I'm working on my coursework while hanging out with you guys. I miss you all. We miss you too, Nicole. Hope you're doing well.
We miss you, Nicole.
Thank you for hanging out with us while doing homework. I'm sure that's a little more challenging to try to get your schoolwork done while listening to this. But
if you need any help, we'd be glad to give you the wrong answers.
Yeah. Don't ask me about math.
You got that core math? I got that old school math.
Yeah, Nicole, what are you doing for homework, Nicole? What's your coursework on right now? And she commented Director Tun, which is who Josh's character is, what we were previously talking about.
Gotcha.
That was while we kind of wait on to see if Nicole responds on what she's doing for homework, while we're kind of on the comic thing, I've got a feeling I know who Jay would say he would pick if he could be become any superhero. And I'll see if I'm right. I'll say after. But Bob and Corey, if you guys could become any superhero, who would you like to be able to become?
That's a tough one. I got to be honest. I'm like the most non-nerdy nerd you've ever met in your life.
All right, if you could become any of the Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be Ray all day long.
There we go. We'll toss that one out. Nicole says she's working on government budgeting, so I'm out.
Drop out of that, dude.
Yeah, we're out. Sorry, Nicole. Good luck.
Government budgeting, yeah. Right now is probably not either. It's either not the best time or the best time to get into that.
There's definitely a lot of work right now.
Yeah, right.
Bobby, no surprise. Bobby said he would become the Hulk. Bob, what about you?
Oof. It would be either Spider-Man or Wolverine.
That's a good answer.
All right, Jay, before you answer,
right.
I'm going to write something down here on my phone. Just
okay.
If I guess right, and then that way it's not like I'm cheating. I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally what I would have said. All right,
I'm
so
gonna throw
Jay,
you.
if you could become any superhero, who would it be?
Jubilee. I'm just
Uh,
kidding. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, fuck.
No, it would definitely be my boy Gambit. You know,
Boom.
I got him tattooed on here. Yeah, you're right.
Gambit.
All day. Gambit or Wolverine. But I like Wolverine for his invincibility, basically. But Gambit for his suave and the being able to turn anything into a bomb and just chuck it.
I gotta say, mine is also tattooed on me. And I love Star-Lord. Yeah.
Star-Lord.
So I would probably go. I would have to go Star-Lord for my choice.
Yeah. Star-Lord's definitely a good one.
I've got mine tattooed on me too.
See, look at that. So, anybody
Ray?
that is still watching, feel free to leave. This is ultimately a group discussion, so you guys are all more than welcome to leave comments on what superhero you wish you could become, or any other questions you have. Always feel free to like, share. The more people we can get this out to, obviously the better.
I'll throw a question out to you guys.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, quarantine. What have you guys been listening to? Any new music? That's my nerd out is music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a great place.
Go for it, Will.
Jay and I both kind of former musicians, and doing
Same
stuff in the local scene and getting to travel a bit. I've been kind of cycle back. I've been listening to a lot of Coheed lately.
Nice.
It was one of those weird things where kind of before the quarantine had hit a bit, I went down to Cinema Club before they had to shut down, and Josh was playing a Coheed song. And then the next night I went into Bull Moose, and the Coheed was playing there. And I was like, man, I just gotta listen to some more Coheed. So I've really been pushing Coheed. My friend Jake lives in Chicago. Has a band called Sleep on It, and pop punk band, more kind of the style of music I played for a number of years. So really into that. And lastly for me, yesterday, the day before maybe, the Ghost Inside just put out their very first song since the horrible bus accident that they had a few years ago. So I've been cycling back into Ghost Inside.
Mine's been all over the place, mostly because of moods. Like depending on what I'm doing. If I'm outside doing yard work, I honestly listen to a lot of oldies, like Motown kind of music.
Yeah.
I would listen to the new Norma Jean album, which I really liked. I've been listening to a lot of like reggae-ish kind of stuff, like the Dirty Heads or Revelation. I love Streetlight Manifesto, Anytime, that ska kind of music. Like, I'm all over the place with music. Like Belmont, I got into Belmont recently, and they're like anybody here listen to Belmont?
Yeah, Belmont is fantastic.
Yeah, they're like a really technical pop punk not prog, but they've got some like weird time almost breakdowns. It's like breakdowns without any screaming.
Yeah.
But Belmont, Belmont. I listen to them a lot. So yeah, all over the place. But I try not to stick to one thing. But I love. I just listened to Mac Miller for the first time, and I fell in love with it. I honestly didn't think that I would, but I threw on my headphones, and his newest album just like, I don't know, maybe it got me because he's already passed away. So I was listening to his music for the first time, a new album that was released after he passed away. It was almost like listening to a ghost. I don't know. It was one of those right time, right mood, right moment kind of albums, and it really, really got me. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I've been.
What about you, Bob?
Oh, go ahead.
I haven't been, not too much. I've been doing a lot of podcasts and stuff. But Pearl Jam put out a CD right in the beginning of shutting down everything. So I've been listening to that, and then that got me to listen to the older stuff, and then I went to the Bloodhound Gang and Beastie Boys, kind of like jumping all around. with some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But so
Yeah.
when I have to concentrate on my work, I shut the podcast down and I listen to music because I focus a little bit better with that. But specifically listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm definitely adding Bloodhound Gang to my list now. One
Now,
Fierce
which
Beer
album,
Coaster.
Bob? Yeah, One Fierce Beer Coaster is what I was gonna. Yeah.
Even
What
Hefty
about
Fine.
you, Corey?
Hefty Fine, their last album.
Hefty Fine?
I don't know. Yeah, Bloodhound Gang's last album.
Oh.
Yeah, such a good album.
When did that come out?
It's like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that out.
It's got
some Spotify, so I'll check it out.
It's got some really offensive songs on it, which is kind of what we look for in Bloodhound Gangs.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, what do you expect? I see Randy's joined our group. Geraldine, Perkins, we got James, Nicole, talking about music. What do you got? Poison Ivy, Villain Wise, Katzen Jammer. Never heard of that.
Rasputin and Baby Metal.
Baby Metal.
Are those like those Asian metal bands that are kind of like anime Asian metal bands?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that there's a lot of pink and sparkles involved.
Jay, who was that? Was the Asian or Japanese band that we played with down at South by Southwest?
Wagaki, I think.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up on my phone to make sure. But if it is, you guys need to check out. They are, I want to say Japanese. I could be wrong, but this metal band. But I don't know. They've got like an electric violinist, right? They've
got something. I have no idea how horrible this would sound over my speakers, so I don't.
Wagaki. Yeah, totally. Wagaki. Wagakki. We played a show with them at South by Southwest when Will and I were in this old band called Banner Year, and it was in Austin, Texas, right? Austin?
Yeah, Austin, yeah.
And they were the headliner on it. We played, No Effects played that show.
Nice.
No, not MXPX. Phoenix TX.
Yeah.
Unwritten Law, they played it, and Wagaki was like the last band. And I'm not going to lie, man. I mean, I had a really good time. I had been drinking a lot. I remember that they were amazing, but I don't really remember a whole lot of their set. But it was also still seeing them as like a different culture when they did their sound check. They had a whole crew. Everybody was like, it was just different, like very respectful. Like they all had a specific job, and the band would do a sound check. And as soon as they were done, everybody like clapped and was just so professional, like on their crew. It was another world for sure.
All right, I'm going to try to play a sample of their music. I don't know if it'll go like direct in or not, so I guess we'll find out. If it doesn't, then
we'll find out. No.
Yeah, I think it's going into my headphones, unfortunately. Let me... Yeah. Well, I tried.
I can just play it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can just play it like on YouTube next to the speaker.
There you go.
We're going to pick this first one that pops up here. Let's see. Skip this schmool advertisement.
So Nicole said that Baby Metal is not anime.
Hold on.
Music taste.
Can you hear this?
I can hear it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of like metal bluegrass.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like basically taking like their ancestral music, but then like adding in like the metal behind it, and like it was crazy because they had like this, probably 20 to 30 person road crew with them, and they came out like set up like wearing one set of clothes while they were doing sound check, and then when they came out they were like full kimono and like all these outfits and like not like musically but just like theatrically the show that they put on was super cool.
Yeah, lights and everything. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. That's for sure. Oh
no! Hey, why not?
Still.
Speaking of Bangor, this little gem I got back here.
Almost breakdowns, like breakdowns.
I remember seeing you guys up on stage at that show with the Rancid and Dropkick Murphys.
Where?
Was that?
Oh, yes. That was awesome. That was a good show.
It was a hell of a show. That was my first time seeing Rancid. They were.
I saw Rancid in 2003 at Warped Tour in Massachusetts.
I saw that too. I think I was there too. They had the cannon guy that shot over the stage.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh no, I saw them. Oh no, that was at Foxborough.
I was gonna say, I feel like I would remember that. Because I know Less Than Jake, Suicide Machines, Story of the Year, The Used, Yellow Card, Thrice. Twisted. Twisted was there.
Twisted, wow, yeah.
Yeah. It was good times. That was a long time ago, man. 2003. Good Lord.
You know who also made an appearance at the Dropkick Murphys show?
Huh?
Do you know who else also made an appearance at that Dropkick Murphys show?
Stephen King.
Stephen King.
Oh, yeah.
Just hanging out in the crowd.
We were there. Me and my wife went to that. We took our daughter, who you just saw. That was her first concert. She was just over a year old. That was fun.
That's awesome. But, he photobombed my friend, not intentionally, but it was like my nephew's first concert. And he not only his first concert, it was Dropkick Murphys. I got him backstage. He got to meet Casey, the bass player.
Nice.
And then there's a photo of him and his dad, and Stephen King's just in the background.
That's awesome.
So I was like, I don't know how to top that, man. Your first concert, just like, I'm sorry.
Right, yeah, everything's ruined from here.
Yeah, right. What was your guys' first concert? Bob, go.
Live?
Yeah, first live.
Like,
memorable.
Is that the band?
The band live.
Oh.
It's like, what's your favorite Nirvana album? Never mind.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah, never mind. What? I want to know.
They actually
live
on Orno. It was at the Alphon. They kind of crapped on Orno, saying it was a small town. So then they played Shit Town right after that. But you all know how it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. What year was that?
Yeah, say back in their heyday.
Yeah, right when Dolphins Cry came out, like that album, when that, so 98, 99, 2000, somewhere around there. No, I can't. Nope, Soul Asylum. That was the first one.
Soul Asylum.
Runaway Tree.
A girl I was dating, they played at school, so it was free. So
yeah. Right.
I saw the Spin Doctors back in the day, so like around that same time. It was
nice.
Yeah, my first three concerts are probably like the weirdest gamut of music you've ever heard. Like within a year, I saw, and this, again, you're all gonna laugh at me, but my first concert ever was Hanson.
Nice.
Yeah. And then like a month later, I went to see Korn at the Civic Center with Incubus and Orgy, and then like 2 weeks after. And then 2 weeks after that, saw Alanis Morissette.
Yeah,
those are my first three.
Yeah. I don't even know how to. I can't even like process all of those different bands. It's like I start with one, I think of another one. I'm like, wait, no, that does not belong at all. My first. Oh wait, you go.
Go ahead. I'll go.
I was gonna say, my first big concert was Blink-182 in Boston. No, not Boston. It was in Massachusetts, but I can't remember what part. And Newfound Glory opened up for them. And they were just becoming popular. Like Blink-182 brought them on tour, and that's when they like hit it. And I fell in love with New Found Glory. Like I have loved that band ever since. I've probably seen them like 6 times now. They just, I don't know, they do it for me. Even though they're a pop punk band that are pushing 40, they do it.
Yeah, like then they're still putting out awesome music.
And they're so authentic.
Yeah. And they when they play shows, they play their fun music and they have a good time. They know, look, everybody's here to hear these songs. Let's just have a good time.
Right.
We're the only other shit we're writing is basically it seems like they're just writing new music to appease a record label and sustain a lifestyle, but they don't play that music when they play live. Like they play all their old shit.
So I was in 4th grade for the first concert I ever saw, and I can still like remember my grandmother like telling me stories after about how pissed off she was. I love my grandmother, but my grandmother is a very strong Christian religious beliefs, and my dad's favorite band is Kiss, and Kiss came to Portland, and my grandmother bought tickets for us, and then she realized who Kiss was, and that Gene Simmons is the demon, and like spits fire and shoots blood out of his mouth, and and I still have her saying, I can't believe I was crazy enough to buy tickets for you to go see that when you were in 4th grade.
That
like,
devil music.
I was like, hey, it was the greatest thing in the world for me. Like,
yeah, right.
I saw Kiss and Aerosmith at the Civic Center. That was a fantastic show.
When was that?
Oh, must have been 2000-ish.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe to me, like thinking 2000 being 20 years ago.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about that with like Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber came out in '94, and that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Like it doesn't feel that way. I don't know what it is. If it's just like any person, whenever you were, it's like okay. For my example, it's like I was born in '85. So technically, I was born in the 80s, but I lived, my version of growing up was the 90s. So it's like the 90s to me will always feel like they were not that long ago. Mm-hmm. I'm just like stuck in feeling like the 90s was just a few years ago. And I'm like, dude, the 90s were 30 years ago.
Well, like, think about it. I mean, so this year, we would have been celebrating 30th anniversary? 30th,
mm-hmm.
35th anniversary for the
30th.
Yeah, 30th anniversary for the Turtles original.
The original movie.
Yep, and then 25.
That's years? Just the original movie.
Right. And then was it 25 years for Clerks that we would have been that we'll be celebrating with them?
Yeah, because I think it was like 95.
Yeah, and I can say, well, we will. Well, I guess we will be celebrating both because we do have the Clerks trio and we do have Kevin. And the Turtles artist coming back, so confirmed so far, and we're still working on Judith and a few other guests. So,
did you guys go see Kevin in Portland? Any of you?
Kevin Smith?
No, Kevin Smith.
No.
Yeah.
No, so I went to the one in Boston.
We had tickets, and just with the weather and everything, we didn't go.
Yeah, so that's basically what had happened. I was gifted tickets. And me and Jay were actually kind of working on a thing where, since we had the Clerks trio, kind of like swapping, doing like a swap with the venue. We give them VIPs, we get to type deal. But then obviously the weather prevented that from happening, especially for us because I mean we would have been driving 2.5 hours to Portland for us.
Yeah.
Well, at least.
At least, on a
nice day, it would have been almost 2 hours.
Right.
It's about the same for me.
Drive in the winter, in the snow. It's not fun.
Yeah.
No,
double it.
But have you seen Reboot? Have you guys seen Reboot?
I have. So it's funny because when we had brought up Chris Hemsworth for for the reboot of the Ghostbusters, I was gonna say, man, like that dude just has the best fucking cameos in movies.
His cameos are
like for those who haven't seen the reboot, I won't ruin anything, but he has the greatest cameo towards the end of that movie, and it's just honestly, I love the reboot. Like I thought it was fantastic that it's still definitely hit for like the people that were fans of the original movie. They still paid homage to that, but they also found a way to make it modern and still like feature things for the younger crowd to get them into it. And then the fact that bringing back actors throughout the whole View Askew universe, and giving them roles, for cameos and whatnot, is just I thought was fantastic. Kicking it.
I appreciate that they basically said like it's the same fucking movie.
Exactly.
We're doing the same movie. It's like these new toys that they're rebooting or whatever. Like you've seen the ones where they're like, hey, here's that same toy, the exact same toy from when you were a kid for triple the price.
They just re-released all the Ghostbusters RGB toys, the real Ghostbusters toys. And it's like, look at the originals. I'm all set.
Yeah.
I just love like the whole like. So what's the difference between a reboot
and a remake?
And a remake.
Yeah, that was so funny because when I was down, I don't know, maybe 3 years now, we went to the Boston Fan Expo, and Jay and Kevin were doing a podcast roadshow, and it was like one night with no, it was what was it? It was like Jay
and Silent Bob
getting old. Yeah.
Getting old,
Yeah, so we went to that, and in it they did a reading of. He was like, "All right," Kevin Smith was like, "All right, so I really want to do this for everybody, but I would really, can you guys please put away your phones, put away your cameras? Like seriously, I want to let's live in the moment. We want to do a reading of part of the script for this new movie that we're working on." And they did that whole scene where they read where Kevin Smith was explaining reboots and remakes to Jay. And it was just so funny, and I'll just never forget. It just cracked me up so much. Them sitting there and hearing Jason Mewes be like, "We got to get to Hollywood and stop that fat fuck Kevin Smith from making this movie."
Oh no, that fat fuck Kevin James.
No, well, in the reading, he says Kevin Smith.
He does say Kevin Smith. Okay.
Yeah. When we were at that
Kevin James, he's like, and I just love that whole thing where they're just shitting on Kevin Smith the whole time, like as if like he's not Silent Bob.
And the Kevin Smith character is just such a dick. Like he's so awful.
Such an asshole.
Yeah.
I just remember like the boom mic that keeps like dropping.
He was not very silent in that movie, though. I will say, not very silent.
But Jay Mewes killed it in that movie, though. He was really good.
Yeah, Jay's fantastic. I can't wait to have him up. I got to meet Jay and Brian down in Raleigh, and haven't got to meet Jeff, but super excited. And from the radio interview that me and Jay did with Brian, he was saying how they've been trying to get Jeff to do conventions for 20 years, was it, Jay?
Here, yeah.
And he just never had an interest, or it wasn't really his thing. So they did their first one together, I think out in Michigan. And, he was, kind of timid, like not really sure what to expect with it or how it would go. And Brian was saying they had probably like 20 or 30 shows that were offers. And he was like, well, I'm going to hold off. Like, let me do a few. So I think he had it was Michigan, I think it would have been Horror Hound Weekend, and then us, or in GalaxyCon, one of the Galaxy Cons were like the only 4 that he had agreed to. And then like halfway through one of the first days at the first con, he goes up to Brian, he's like, this is a lot of fucking fun, like sign me up, like whatever you got on there, let's do them, so it'll be cool. Like, and Brian was saying, the more they get to like hang out and do these things, the more they can all get on the same page with each other. So
Clerks 3, bring it on.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm ready for that.
Michael Marshall says, "Listen, guys."
What's up, Mike?
That's Ghostbuster Mike.
Ghostbuster Mike, yes.
Ghostbuster Mike.
And we've got Nicole. My first concert was in New Hampshire, Godsmack. She met Shauna the same year, and her next concert was, hey, Twisted Again, and ICP. And Bobby says Harley Kevin's kid was the MVP of that movie. I agree.
Yeah.
Harley was fantastic.
Logan was pretty fantastic as well.
Yeah.
Jay's kid.
Yeah. I thought
Did you see Yoga Hosers? We don't have to talk long about it, but have you seen it?
Oh no, you're good. No,
yeah, I've seen Yoga Hosers.
I have not. What is this?
Don't waste your time.
It's one of the View Askew films, and it's basically like these basically.
Have you seen Tusk?
I have seen Tusk. Yeah.
So you haven't seen Tusk?
No, I have, but like, good lord, dude.
The two convenience store girls from Tusk. They made a movie of those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's awful.
Well, wasn't that Harley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like
Harley
got
like,
Depp's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his daughter. Yeah, it's like these many like kebabs, bratwurst things that turn into like Nazis.
Bratzies.
Yeah, they're the Bratzies.
Didn't Kevin Smith play the Bratzies?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Jay Muse was supposed to, but the first day they put him in the makeup, he freaked out and had an anxiety attack because it was too tight. So they made Kevin Smith do it.
Oh.
And he has like this awful high-pitched German accent, and it's just all these little bratwursts that attack, and it's really bad. It's really bad.
Hey, Paul from Galactic Comics, who was supposed to join us tonight, had to bail. Just kidding, Paul. I hope you're having a good time with your family.
Not kidding. He did have to bail.
Yeah, he did have to bail, but it was for good reasons. Paul had said Godsmack was also his first concert he had ever saw. Paul and Nicole, I am sorry for both of you.
Yeah,
That's my hot take.
What's the weirdest show you ever saw?
Oh, that was it.
A donkey.
The Donkey Show. I think we were in Nashville, and we went to. Everyone was like, "You guys gotta go to Coyote Ugly. You gotta go to Coyote Ugly." So we're like, "Okay, yeah, we'll go check it out." So we walk like 4 or 5 blocks and get there, and the bouncer's like, "You guys aren't from here, are you?" And we're like, "No, we're a touring band from Maine." He's like, "There's the cover charge. I'm not gonna make you pay. You probably just want to go right upstairs to like the arcade area. You're not gonna care for what's in the bar." And we're like, "Well, that was interesting." So we go in, and the very first thing you see is a like this old couple basically just like going at it in the shop. That there's like nobody attending the shop, like there's no cashier or anything. And then we walk into what's supposed to be Coyote Ugly, and there's this one bartender, I think, in like assless chaps, and like a trucker just sitting at the bar, and that was it. There was nobody else in this massive thing, just like this dude in assless chaps waiting as the bartender, and a trucker like just chilling at the bar. So we're like, all right, let's get out of here.
So a trucker and a guy in assless chaps walk into a bar.
But no, music-wise, I think probably was it Guar that played at 103?
Guar has played at 103.
Yeah, they shot the blood all over the place.
Yeah, the whole place was covered in plastic.
Covered in blood, yeah, covered in plastic, yep.
I saw them in Worcester. That was a pretty sick show.
Literally. I was like stained red for like a week.
I saw it was probably 96, probably the weirdest lineup. It was Blink 182 opening for the Alcoholics, which was Exhibit's first rap group. and they were both opening for Primus.
Oh wow.
Oh my god.
Okay.
It was very odd.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So like Blink played like right front of stage, like opening band front of stage. And then the Alcoholics came out with like these 2 giant inflatable 40s. And then Primus came out, and like the first thing they did was show the first episode of South Park. And then just broke into Primus, and it's like, this is, my brain can't process all of this.
I'm trying to think for like weird concerts like that I've been to. Like, well, not even so weird, but I'll tell you, probably the most surprising concert that I had a good time at was Rod Stewart about 2 years ago in Bangor, maybe 3 years ago now, because Kimberly was still pregnant at the time, and Miles almost 3. But Rod Stewart, Bangor Waterfront. My mom just happened to get us tickets, and he put on a damn good show. Like, I enjoyed that show a lot.
Got
Just
it.
not in that.
It was just like Elton John was just a little while ago, man. Like he was last year, 2 years ago, he was here and put on, for as old as he is, still killing it.
Yeah.
Paul, you're good. I'm just teasing you, man. We know, family's definitely important. I know the hours you've been working between the auto shop and trying to run the comic shop, so you're all good, man.
Is he responding to me about Rod Stewart with the Godsmack thing?
Probably, and you just on Godsmack.
Speaking of some surprising shows, you guys watch Post Malone yesterday?
I saw a little bit of the Post thing.
So good.
It was really good. I'm a huge Post fan. But I mean, I don't know if it was better than the Puddle of Mud that.
Oh my God.
They did, but I mean, Post was right there. He was a close number 2. No, I mean Post was great. He had Travis Barker in on drums.
Yeah.
And he did like a 2-hour set. Like.
Yeah. All Nirvana covers. It was great.
Nirvana covers was awesome.
I like that they're doing this.
I think it was like live on YouTube, so I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's feeds of it all over the place. Got a few more questions before we kind of wrap it up. We're almost the hour 45 mark here.
Before Bob falls asleep.
What was that?
Before Bob falls asleep.
Bob, if great segment here, like we did with What's Jay Drinking. If you need any, Bob's on a different time zone too. He's a little ways back, right?
2 hours ahead or behind you guys.
Behind the.
Oh, you are?
Bob's not even pushing 8 o'clock over there right now.
Oh.
Well, Bob, if you need, I got this sweet hookup with Unrest Coffee, right out of good old Hamden. Our mine and Jay's buddy Brian Keyser. I am not a huge beer person. I put up with it. Jay can tell you some fun stories about when I buy a beer and how much of it I drink. So I wanted to be able to try to help promote other businesses and something that I would enjoy. So one of those that I've been trying is Unrest Coffee Co. Out of Hamden. And, Poland, if you're watching, Seltzer Waters. Let's get on that train.
Hook him up.
Or Joey Fatone. Get us some fat ones up here.
Get some fat ones. Yeah, right.
So Bob, what do you have in the works? I mean, are you, with the downtime right now, are you able to get a lot done? I know at one point you were talking about, was it like a children's book you were working on?
Yeah, I was just about to finish that, and then I had my heart attack. So.
Oh yes, the heart attack.
Stopped that from. I only have like 6 more pages to do that. But afterwards, because they went in through my wrist to put the stents in, I couldn't draw for 2 weeks. My arm hurt so much, just being sore and I was tired. My body was
absolutely.
So, there's a podcast I listen to, SEN. They're just starting off, and they're just a bunch of fools talking about movies and just shooting like how we're doing. So they all have like different personalities on there. So I actually been working on my shirt, using their characters and their personalities to kind of create a T-shirt. And I've been learning how to letter by hand and all that stuff. So, and I might submit it to them to see what they think. And if they want to use them, I'll give it to them for free, just as a donation, because that's how they run podcasts, like for chat, stuff like that. So just the last 3-4 weeks, I've been working on shirt designs. So I'm going to also start doing more T-shirts once. In the next couple weeks, I'll go through Etsy and Shopify, I think. And I got Threadless up and going right now, but sales have been pretty low, which is understandable. A lot of people aren't working, so I'm not going to complain that I'm not getting money when other people aren't getting money. But that's where my focus is right now, doing the T-shirt designs and learning how to do that to make a nice T-shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, are you finally able to start drawing again, or are you still kind of?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So if obviously you kind of talked about um, the T-shirts, but you also have a number of prints out. And are you accepting, like, if people wanted like anything commission wise? Is that something you've currently would have you have time to be able to take on?
Yeah. Yeah. Someone just doing how that everything's starting to feel good. I was working on a portfolio stuff before all that. Finally, now everything's starting to click, and it's feeling better. Because it's funny how if you take and I was sick 2 weeks before that too, before everything happened. So it just I lost. It's like muscle memory. It just disappeared, and it was like trying to get all that. But I mean, Jay would know,
Right.
like, if you play music and you don't play for 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
it
Rusty.
takes a couple weeks to get back into this.
Yeah.
But now I'm back. I'm pretty much back to where I was before.
How far out are you? How far away is that?
I'm in Utah.
No, but I mean, how long ago did that happen?
It was 6 weeks ago, because it'd be 6 weeks this Sunday, right when everything shut down. Like, I was in the hospital as they were getting ready to like lock down and get everything waited to bring people in for the COVID stuff. So it's like, if it was going to happen, perfect timing. I mean, because I was,
So Bob, if somebody, again, you kind of mentioned the T-shirts, but if somebody wanted to, get their hands on any of your T-shirts, any of your prints, or reach out to you for commission work, what are the best ways to go about doing that?
Find Facebook, Bob Raymond. That's usually what I'll see pop up through my red list is Sketch Every Videos, and on Redbubble is Sketchworks. There's no O in it. It's just WRKS. Those are the two places. I think I had one more, but I didn't like their system, so I kind of failed. Once I get Etsy's and Shopify up, but then I'll start posting. I'll start pushing that.
Yep.
Awesome.
And Corey, kind of going back to the cosplay, the detail into, like, even like making your guys' suits, proton packs, even the detail in the car. Like, what kind of process is that like to make the suits, make the proton packs, like, get the cars all detailed out, like all set up? Because I mean, you guys, it's legit. Like, that that the Ecto one you guys have is, it's spot on, and it's, if people haven't gotten to see it, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Tom that built that Ecto, he owns that Ecto. He was just joking one day that he was going to buy a hearse and build it up, and then
It is a hearse.
Yeah, it was.
I was going to ask, in the movie, was it a hearse or an old ambulance?
So the original Ecto was, I guess it was technically an ambulance, but at that point, funeral homes were the ambulance services as well. Right. So it was kind of a dual purpose. But in its in its purpose, it was an ambulance, but it was also the main purpose of the vehicle was for funeral homes.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, when Tom bought that, he was like, "All right, I got to do it." And if you guys know Tom, he's also the Iron Man of Maine.
Yeah. So he goes full ham.
He doesn't drop a stitch on anything. He's if you go on Iron Man of Maine, I don't know his official Facebook, but he's 3D printing his third Iron Man suit right now, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, he sent me some photos, because he was originally, for the dates we had, I think work was going to be sending him to Germany or something like that.
Yeah.
So he would have ended up missing it. So he was like, "Yeah, I just kind of want to show you some of the stuff I'm working on. I'm bummed I won't be there."
Yeah. But yeah, when he built the Ecto, he went, he did a ton of research, and then when they released the reboot movie, he was able to go out and look at the actual Ecto and, pick apart pieces that people hadn't even seen yet and find authentic pieces. And I mean, I think his is one of the most accurate Ectos of that series that's out there. but that's just the way it is. We have such a cool community in the Ghostbusters scene that everybody is pretty helpful to everybody else. So if somebody finds, there's a bunch of little screws and stuff. I mean, like these little parts and stuff, and if somebody finds one that's, oh, I found a surplus of this, they share it. They don't, keep it to themselves. So it's finding those hard to find things. It's a good community of people that will either get a good replica of it or share it with other people.
Can I ask you a question, Corey?
Yeah.
What is, how like a fraternity, they are a fraternity, but they do charity work, or they, outreach kind of stuff like that. What is the point of these Ghostbusters groups? Like, can you inform us in that? Like, what is your guys' goal? What, is it more about the replicas and just hanging out, or do you guys do charity kind of work and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, so we'll just start by saying there's at least one franchise in every state in America, and there's at least one franchise on every continent in the world.
Okay.
And from there, I mean, I would say there's at least one franchise in every country. We're everywhere. And when it first started taking off, Sony was really cool about it, kind of like, the 501st is. They said, you can do whatever you want, just don't make money off of it. So, I mean, that's the reason we're able to, use likenesses like this, is to not make money off it. And the way people do that is by raising money for charity. Starting in 2010, when we started, we instantly said that we were going to raise money for charity, and that, we chose the Center for Grieving Children out of Portland. They're an awesome organization that helps kids that are dealing with death and loss, including families, at no cost. So it's 100% free for anybody to go there who's dealing with a loss and get the help they need and talk to someone. So
now, how do you guys bring in funds? Is it from doing appearances? Do you guys charge for photos?
Yeah, we don't have a set price. So if you want us to come to an event, like you guys are so awesome, you guys always give us the space in Bangor to be able to get up there, and we put donation boxes out, and patches. We'll get those out and we'll sell those, and all that money goes to charity. If somebody wants to take a picture with us, we don't ask for money, but we say, hey, if you want to donate to our charity. Last year at Bangor, we had a 3D printer, and we were printing little proton packs and selling those for $5.
Cool.
So just stuff like that. We do the Portland Sea Dogs every year, and they are very, very generous to us in the charity, and stuff like that. So just little money here and there. I think last year or 2 years ago was our biggest year. We did $3,500 for the charity throughout the year, which
awesome.
Pretty huge.
Yeah, I'm sure they can use that. It's like, I just wanted to make sure, it's one of those things where I knew that there's there's obviously doing it for fun in the cosplay side, but I assume that all of these Ghostbusters organizations, chapters or whatnot are coming together for a certain reason, overall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's everybody out there is out there because we love this. But it's definitely super rewarding to be able to give back to. And I don't know of a single franchise out there that does this for any other reason besides charity.
Yeah. Very cool.
No, Corey, kind of like I asked with Bob if obviously there's not a whole lot you guys can do right now, with the shutdown. But once things get back to normal, if somebody wanted to work with the Maine Ghostbusters, or have them at an event, or try to coincide with you guys for some charity work, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you and help make that happen?
Yeah, I mean, our Facebook, is facebook.com/MaineBusters. If you send a message there, it's going to kick you to our email, and our email is just mainbusters@gmail. And we have two guys that run that and basically schedule everything out. Sometimes it's tough because we're all scattered around the state in different places. So it's, coordinating, things like Bangor, we always try to get everybody to. But, if you have a birthday party and you want us to come, there might be one of us that shows up. But, we try to do as much as possible. But yeah, definitely going through email or Facebook are the two best ways to get a hold of us.
Awesome.
Cool.
Jay, do you have anything else before we kind of wrap up?
No, I think I'm good. I asked my important questions, all the things I needed to know.
And as me and Jay get more of these under our belts, we do have a few more things we're going to be adding in. We've got Josh from Queen City Cinema Club, who's going to kind of join in eventually and help do some trivia questions for the guest and for the people who are watching, as well as based off the episode, some of his top 5 favorite movies. As Jay and I said, as well, a big part of this con is being able to give back to local. So we're going to start doing, once we get a system figured out, we are going to start doing a raffle where any of the raffle tickets sold, we're going to pick a local restaurant or local business, buy a gift card to them, and then we will raffle off the gift card to those who enter, as well as a BCTC item, be it a VIP pass, be it some of the prints that we have here from Bob, some signed stuff from past guests. So for everybody that missed, we've got some, Twin Peaks signed by Harry and Kimmy. We've got some Lou Temple stuff, and some other things in the works. So keep an eye out for that.
Lou Temple was awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
He was such a cool guy.
Lou is fantastic.
Lou, he's a character, that's for sure.
Man, so I think I kind of talked about this on the last episode, but I'll do a dumbed down version. First off, hey Johnny, thank you so much for watching again. We miss you, man. Hope you're doing well. Pretty sure you told me your birthday's coming right up. So if I haven't missed it, happy early birthday. If I did miss it, happy belated birthday. I hope you're doing well. So Lou Temple, he
Gentleman.
Yeah, absolutely. Southern gentleman through and through. So 2 things with Lou. He actually reached out to me. He got my number from Chris, who used to run the con, and it was like, "Hey, Will, this is Lou Temple. I got your number from Chris. Would love to come up to Bangor. I've heard some great things. If you have any interest, I'd love to work with you guys." And I told Jay, I was like, "Yeah, this is probably bullshit. I don't. Nah, there's no way this guy's just going to reach out to me himself."
Yeah, right.
And I was like, so and Chris, anybody that knows Chris knows he loves to play jokes and fuck around with people. So I was like, this is just Chris playing a joke on me. It's probably his buddy Hans or something like that. So I was like, haha, funny, Chris. And next thing I know, I get like a FaceTime audio thing or video, and I was like, all right, whatever. So I'm at work, and I'm like, I'm gonna step out for a second, or I was on break, and I grab the call, and it's Lou Temple, and he's like, hey, don't mind the get up, man. This really is Lou Temple. I'm on set, on break, getting ready we're filming this movie right now, so don't mind the get up. But yeah, man, no, this is really me. I'd love to come up. So if you're interested, let's make it happen. And then Lou gets up here, and the get up he was wearing was not much different from the very loud outfits that he already would wear in general. So, but yeah, Lou was great. He's grabbing everybody, posing for photos. At one point, my grandmother, she's never been to a comic convention before in her life, was just enthralled. Was so in love with it, and huge Walking Dead fan. So she was so excited to meet Lou and Cooper, and got to hang out with Lou for a little bit. And she was leaving for the night, to go back to her hotel room. And so she went over to say goodbye to Lou, and he's like, "Oh yeah, did you get to meet Coop yet?" And as many of us saw, Coop, next to Sid and Joey had one of the longest lines, for any of the guests there. And she's like, "No, his lines too long. I'll try again tomorrow," type thing. And he's like, "Oh no, that doesn't work for me." So he's like, "Hold on, guys, I'll be back in 10 minutes." And puts his arm, extends his arm out to accompany her, and walks her right over to Cooper's table. And he's like, "Hey, Coop, how's it going?" He's like, "Hey, Lou," like, they start chatting for me. He's like, "Yeah, you got a minute? I want you to meet my new friend." And Cooper again had a giant line. He's like, "Hey guys, I'll be back in just a minute," and like stopped what he was doing and like got up, gave my grandmother a hug, like talked to her for like 5 or 10 minutes, and like I think the only other time I've seen my grandmother cry is when my grandfather had passed away, and like she was just like full tears, like so excited, that she got to do this, and like, and it was all thanks to Lou. And
Yeah.
I mean, I would have Lou back again anytime. He was a gentleman.
He was a good dude. Yeah.
Danny,
Those are the moments you get to love about a convention, though, is the personal interactions with people that you look on a screen, and the people from the screen, and behind the books and stuff like that, and to have those personal interactions are definitely the reasons that I love conventions so much.
yeah,
For
I mean,
sure.
and it's like it becomes like these people that you've never met or just seen and like idolize, kind of almost become like like a mini family. As Jake can attest, he still talks with people quite often. And the other day, Jay, what'd you say? You like woke up in the middle of the night, and I won't
Yeah.
say what you talked to Cooper. The program that you and Cooper used to talk.
Yeah.
But you know, you got up in the middle of the night and you had like 4 or 5 like video messages from Cooper, just like rambling on about this and that, like, oh hey, check out
Well,
my home gym, and like
yeah, well, those were like the older ones, but yeah, he had me add him on this like video messaging app that he's part of, and yeah, we talk every now and then, but I messaged him about this show type thing we were doing, just being like, hey, we haven't talked a little bit, but Will and I are working on this thing, and just curious if you want to be part of it, blah blah blah. Shoot me a message if you can, no big deal. And yeah, I woke up at like 5 a.m. and I was just kind of like stirring around my house, like getting like a snack, and while everybody else was sleeping. And I look at my phone, and on this app, it tells you if somebody's like sending you a video. And it just all of a sudden is like, Cooper is sending you a video. I'm like, it's 5:30 a.m. And I'm like, okay. So I open it, and he's just like sitting at a keyboard. Looks like he's so tired. He's just like, yeah, I've just been up all night. Yeah, just hanging out. I'll definitely do that show. Like, just let me know the details of this and that. And he's like, yeah, so it's like 5 here in Georgia. I'm like, okay, you can't make this stuff up, man. Like, that's definitely one of the coolest things about this is like, there's a lot of work involved, but to be able to, never before this would I have the means to be able to just video chat with Cooper from The Walking Dead at like 5 a.m. randomly. And which I will tell you, one thing I learned from him is he gave me a term called a mat. He said, what you're doing right now being up is called a mat. And I named it after a friend of mine. It's when you sleep, but you wake up and you know you're going to be up for a little bit, but you go back to bed. And he said it can be anywhere from 20 minutes to 4 hours, but after that, you're just awake. I thought that was pretty funny.
yeah, I think it's cool. Like, I mean, even with like Moses' site, I haven't talked with him much, but like me and Jay are both friends with him on his personal Facebook page. And anytime we reach out or comment on something, he's always getting right back to us, saying how much he misses us, and was like really ecstatic about the idea of getting to be a part of this. And I mean, I don't want to, I don't know how late you guys want to stay up, so I don't want to keep everybody forever here. But over the summer, me and Jay got to go down to New Hampshire for Granite State Con, and we had, at the time we had already had Kevin booked, but I don't think we had. I don't know if we had announced at the time that we had Kevin
No,
booked
we
just
had.
yet. Yeah, so it's kind of like one of those. Me, Jay, and like our immediate staff had knew about it. But we get down there, and Courtney was like, Courtney, his wife, actually invited us down. She said, "Come down and hang out. Like, we'd love to meet you guys, and get to know you guys a little bit. Obviously, if you're able to make it down, so we took the trip down, and sure enough, like we went over, and they were getting ready to head to a panel. Right after the panel, like, Courtney pulled us aside and was like talking with us, having us meet Kevin. The other guys was offering us like these Team Eastman, special badges for the weekend, which hindsight probably should have taken. But we're like, oh yeah, we're good. We're already, we've got our wristbands or whatever. And then even after the fact, like, we got to kind of hang out on the side while they did their photos with the sewer layer with our friend's feature presentation. And then I can't remember the guy's name. Super great dude. Jay, you can probably help me with this.
Chad.
Chad?
Chaz?
Chaz, yep. He had found out who we were, and we were standing in line, and he's like, no. You guys don't stand in line. You come up here. And we're like, no, dude, we're good, because there was one line, and then a break, and then we were like the beginning of the second line. And there's people that had been standing there for easily an hour waiting. And he's like, no, it's fine. Come on, come right up. And we're like, no, like, we're fine. Like, we're good. We're gonna get to meet him, or we'll get to see him again. Like, we just wanted to say goodbye and thank him for having us down. Like, we don't need to cut anybody off. These people have been waiting. We run one of these, like, we understand, like, if I was a fan waiting and somebody else just cut me off, I'd be pissed off. And it didn't help that the very first person in line was a gentleman who had, like, a walker. We must have just had, like, some sort of, like, knee surgery. And so it just added, like, insult to injury. We're like, no, we're not getting in front of this person. And the guy, like, would not take no for an answer. And so, like, me and Jay are, like, kind of, like, trying to, like, cover our faces, like, yeah, don't mind us, like. And Kevin's this fantastic guy just trying to have a conversation with us. And me and Jay are just like, this is so cool, but we're trying to just rush this because we already, like, feel so bad that we've cut off, like, this, line of 50 or 60 people. And we're like, as we're leaving, we're just, like, keeping our heads down. We're like, all right, let's hurry up, let's get out of here. Like, we know, like, we'll probably get some, like, the dirtiest looks by everyone there. Like,
who are these guys?
Yeah, who are these guys? How the hell did they get, like, get this special treatment?
Right. Yeah.
Danny messaged, do you have original Pokemon booster packs? I saw Paul already commented, but Paul would definitely be your go-to for that. Galactic Comics. He's got a massive Pokemon collection, so if you're looking for anything, definitely follow up with Paul at Galactic Comics. Johnny's birthday is next Thursday, so Johnny, tune in next Wednesday with us. I don't know who our guests are going to be just yet for that one. Me and Jay will have to figure that out tomorrow. Look through our list, but maybe we'll do something, fun for you.
Maybe.
Fire for your birthday. We'll make Jay sing a song.
Let's sing.
Bad Touch, right? We'll stick with the Bloodhound game.
Yeah, exactly.
Was it you and Aaron that did that, or was that just Aaron that did that on that karaoke thing?
No, that was just me.
That was just you. Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely thought I knew I remembered you, but I couldn't remember if Aaron was part of that or.
Yeah, I did my acoustic version of Bad Touch. Times.
All right. Well, do you guys have anything else you guys want to add in? Are you all good?
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back in convention season, man. Hopefully this ends soon so we can all get together and high five and have a beer.
I miss it so much, man. I don't want to go into a tangent or anything, but yeah, it's like nothing's the same. It's like my dad was saying, oh, go get out of the house, go get some groceries or something. I'm like, it's still not the same. Like, put on my mask and put on my gloves and don't talk to anybody and act like everybody's out to get me. Like, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Shopping.
Well, like, God forbid you run into somebody and you're just like, waving hi from like across the store, like, yeah, we're having this conversation right now. Like, good to see you. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. Jay was saying on the last episode, we had our buddy Al in Mike Kingston, and we were saying how all those guys would have basically been here that night we were doing that. So instead of a video chat, we should have all been hanging out and having fun. And then obviously this would have been night two, I think Jay and I would have either been finishing up at dinner or what?
I was gonna say it's 10:10 right now. I feel like I'd be feeling pretty good. I have a few drinks in me.
That after party last year was crazy. Like
Yeah,
it was
so fun.
just seeing Steve come in his Deadpool costume, but with a Disney princess dress over it. It was the funniest.
It's funny because yeah, Steve is just like Steve's a gem. I can't get enough of Steve. Like he like again on the whole cosplay you know he's perfect for Deadpool and once he puts on the Deadpool cosplay he becomes Deadpool he spot on. Um, and it's funny because me and Jay had prior were like, do we really want to do another one of these after parties? Every year prior these things have kind of been a bust. You get 10 or 15 people that show up and that's it.
Yeah.
So for it to to be what it was last year, it was awesome. And
It was funny. It was like me, Mike, Bobby, Frank the Tank. We're sitting at a table, we're eating and drinking, just shooting the shit loud as hell. And there's these girls, they're behind us, and they're waiting for Joey to show up.
Yep.
And Bobby's a nice guy, and he's like, should we let him have our seat? And we're like, fuck them. We're sitting, we're drinking, we're having a good time.
Right.
Stand there and wait for him.
Dude, me and Aaron, our buddy Aaron, did the Mother Lover karaoke, and I gotta say, never in my life did I think I'd get done karaoke and step off a stage and high five Cooper Andrews from The Walking Dead, Eric Stolansky, Rabbit from the Super Troopers, and who else was standing? And Lou Temple.
Lou, yep.
High five each one of those guys after I'm done doing karaoke. I never thought that would be the day.
Well, how many times did we kind of try and push to get Cooper to go up and sing, and then randomly, he's just like, oh, I gotta watch my vocal cords, I gotta be careful, and then next thing you know, he picks Bohemian Rhapsody, and he goes up and sings. It's like, wait a minute, you're worried about your vocal cords for the show, and then here you are out of all the songs, this is what you choose to go up and jump in on.
Yeah, right.
Did you hear what happened to Dave at that? I think
no.
Because they had the Jello shots and the syringes, and those guys pounding them back. He said the next morning he goes to put on his jacket to come to the show on Sunday, and he puts his hands in his pocket and he pulls out 10 syringes. Everybody was shoving syringes in his jacket. So Seasons is missing a few syringes right now.
So I feel we do a lot with Seasons, and I feel it's probably a common thing that happens there. Because anytime I go downstairs to set up an event or something, I always feel there's another 100 or a couple different 100 packs of those syringes for Jello shots, and I'm at what point do you guys be hey, something's not adding up? Why are we constantly buying these things? Where are they disappearing to?
Why does it look like the waterfront in Bangor right now?
Gotta get my Jello shots.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's probably a good time as any to call it good for the night.
Yeah. So again, I just want to thank Shauna, who kind of had to bow out a little while ago. Bob for joining in. It's been forever. Definitely miss you here. Movie premieres and whatnot just are not the same. So thank you for taking time. Thank you, Corey, for kind of jumping in here last minute and joining in for the Ghostbusters. As you said, there's no way we could have, named this what we did and not involve, the Maine Ghostbusters in it. So thank you and your daughter for coming in for a few minutes and saying hi and whatnot. Again, anytime you guys want to come back, you're more than welcome to. The more the merrier for these things. So.
Sure.
Yeah, man, we'll definitely be back whenever you want us, man.
Awesome, thank
Cool,
you.
guys.
I guess one last little shout out I want to do. I meant to do it earlier, but I just want to, as we said, this weekend we should have been, pretty deep into the con at this point, and just want to give a quick shout out to mine and Jay's amazing team. We were at the point basically we were doing two meetings a week for like the past 5 months, and then we had people that were helping us. We did the Festival of Lights parade, different movie premieres, different parties and whatnot. And none of this would be possible without the team that we have behind us supporting us and helping make all this happen. So we miss you guys. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in, and we will see you all back here next Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
We'll be here next Wednesday.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
See you, dudes.
I'm just throwing the outro music so if you guys can either hang up or you can stay on for the Alright, have a good night, guys. See ya.